Hello everyone, and welcome to Katharine's Q&A. This is a series where you can ask an author pretty much anything. Today's question pertains to plotting a story or coming up with your original concept. And the question is, when I come up with a new book series or a new story, do I conceive it all at once or do I make it up as I go? And I guess those two are the most common methods of story design. There are plenty of people who take all the time and effort to make sure they know exactly how the story is going to unfold, all their characters, all down to the little bit details before they even start typing out their first draft. They already have everything more or less figured out. And of course, the opposite is people who have a basic idea of a story they want to tell, and they just start writing and see where it takes them. And those people are usually the ones that veer off dramatically, but that's not bad either. For me, a little bit of both. When I come up with a new story or series, I usually know all the main players, so all the big characters. I know the basic world design. I know the plot, how it begins, where it's going to end. I'm a cliffhangers person. Usually I know where I want to leave off, especially since I do write in series, to pull readers into the next few books. So I like to have all that set in place before I start writing my book. But with that said, I also don't want, I do allow some creativity to unfold as I go through. In other words, I allow, and I have had subplots kind of reveal themselves as I start writing or after I start writing. I've had minor characters and even one major character kind of write themselves into the story. A lot of backstory for each character kind of unveils itself to me as I go along too. And so for me, that's kind of exciting. It's fun to see the book or series kind of take a life in and among itself and kind of go from there. So I'm less restrictive than some, but more so than others. I am a planner. I'm inherently a planner. And it's because of that, if any of you are interested in beginning a story, I do encourage to have a little bit, set out for you. Do take some time to consider what point you want to make, how are you going to get there, what characters you're going to be focusing on. But I also would advise you not to be so constrictive that if the story starts veering away from your original plan, you become to panic. It's sometimes nice to, again, take a breath and see where it goes. You can always delete that section. You can always cut it, crop it, put it somewhere else in another file, and maybe it'll come to play in another future series or book. But it is good to let the story kind of evolve as you're going through. Because again, like I said, in my own experience, you may have characters you didn't expect come out to pass. You may have really cool backstory that you originally didn't intend for come out and help connect the dots and make your world and your characters that much more rich. And of course, all different kinds of subplots, and again, makes that book story a little more complex and dimensional. And those are all great things. So don't necessarily be too constrictive. And I would advise you to try different methods of story writing. Maybe start with just the loose space idea, and maybe come and try one that has a little more set in stone and see what works best for you. But again, don't be too constrictive and allow your characters and stories to reveal their secrets as you go along. You could be surprised. It's always fun to have your book kind of just, again, come alive before your eyes. Well, today's little question was short, sweet, to the point. If you have another question for me, post it in the comments below. Message me on my social media. I'll be happy to chat with you for a few minutes about it. And until next time, skål.